This is my presentation about the damaging effects and outcomes of poverty. The news article that I chose to review was out of Memphis, Tennessee. The news article was about the connection between poverty and youth crimes within Memphis, Tennessee. The poverty rate of African American children within Memphis, Tennessee is over 38%, while 5% Caucasian children live in poverty. Those within the article explain that poverty leads to mental illnesses and crime due to the individual's survival state of mind. They state that the employed in Memphis, Tennessee should have higher wages. They explain that if those in Memphis, Tennessee had higher wages, then maybe they wouldn't have to resort in crime to support their family. Those in the article also stated that those within the community are targeting their works towards bettering the resources within the school to give students in poverty a better chance. This graph is just showing the large cities within the United States, and Memphis, Tennessee is ranked number 2 in child poverty with a 35% rate. This is a graph showing the violent crime rates for high populated American cities, and Memphis, Tennessee once again is ranked 2nd. What is poverty? So, poverty is ultimately the lack of proper resources for an individual or household. A person in poverty lacks basic necessities such as healthcare, food, housing, and clothing. America uses something called the federal poverty line to classify an individual or family as in poverty. So over here is a graph of the federal poverty line as of the first column is 2023 and the second column is 2024. So for an individual household, in 2023, a person must fall under $14,580 to be in poverty, and in 2024, $15,060. For a family of 4, they must fall between $30,000 in 2023 and $31,200 in 2024 to be considered impoverished. What makes poverty an issue? So, a social issue is a repetitive problem created by humans that affects a significant amount of the population. Poverty affects millions of individuals within our society in several different ways. This issue has lingered through families and communities through a term known as the cycle of poverty. This is where an individual learns to be poor because they grew up in impoverished areas. These areas lack proper attention and resources. So, an example of the cycle of poverty is someone growing up in poverty. So, let's say they live in a rural community. They're growing up in poverty, so they go to an impoverished school that lacks proper resources. And so that means they get poor education. And then that poor education then hinders them when they go out and after the graduation. If they graduate after graduation, hinders them in an employment life and helping to break that cycle. Poverty also leads to several mental illnesses, poor achievements, and physical illnesses. Poverty is also known to be linked to higher rates of crime and death. The mental effects of poverty. Children going through poverty often develop less gray matter in the brain than peers. This can cause a child to have disadvantages with cognitive abilities like problem solving or focusing on a question during class. Poverty is linked to several mental illnesses such as depression, anxiety, and bipolar depression. Adults experiencing poverty often have poor hygiene as well as lack proper medical attention. Adults who are in poverty also often experience excessive amounts of chronic stress. This can cause them to have elevated levels of cortisol, which is linked to diabetes and early death. So from the NASW Code of Ethics and the Declaration of Human Rights, here is two articles. One is from the preamble, and the other one is Article 25 that is related to poverty. From the Declaration of Human Rights, it says, everyone has the right to a standard of living adequate for the health of himself and of his family, including food, clothing, housing, and medical care, also necessary social services. From the Code of Ethics, it states, the primary mission of the social work profession is to enhance human well-being and help meet the basic human needs of all people, with attention to the needs of people who are vulnerable, oppressed, and living in poverty. Social policies related to the issue. There are many safety net programs that help with housing, food, and medical needs for those in poverty. The TANF program was established to help families with children in poverty with cash assistance. Another program that helps those in need is the SSI Income Program, also known as the Supplemental Security Program. This program provides monthly cash assistance to disabled children and adults, or those who are over the age of 65 that are deemed in need within the U.S. Another program that helps within the United States is known as the SNAP program. This is a federally funded program that provides food assistance to those who suffer from poverty within America. The outcomes of poverty. Many of those within poverty end up homeless and with poor mental or physical health. Poverty can lead to unemployment, discrimination, as well as poor education. Poverty can also lead to crime, like presented within the news articles from previous slides. Discussion questions. Do you believe that crime and poverty have a direct impact on each other? And do you think that our government, state, and counties are doing enough for those in poverty? Here's my references.